Hello, my name is John, and today we'll be reading Democrats' Real Pervasive Collusion with Russia Somehow Lost in Media's Hysterical Anti-Trump Campaign. This editorial appears in the Investor's Business Daily on July 13th, 2017. Russian collusion. If there is bipartisan agreement on anything these days, it is that Donald Trump Jr. was foolish to have met with someone who represented herself as someone with ties to the Russian government in order to get some dirt on Hillary Clinton. But the hypocritical and selective outrage of the Democrats in attacking the younger Trump is mind-boggling. Let's put what young Donald did into perspective. He and Trump campaign official Paul Manafort met for 20 minutes with Russian lawyer Natalia Veselnitskaya, who Trump thought could help his father's campaign by dishing dirt on his opponent. He got exactly nothing, except a lecture about U.S. sanctions against Russia. Nothing was exchanged, as far as anyone knows. A one-off meeting that led to nothing other than more anti-Trump Democratic hysteria. Now, for the Democrats. It's an unfortunate and well-documented truth that the Democratic Party and its allies have for years fallen all over themselves actually colluding, not just with Russia, but with its predecessor, the Soviet Union, which truly was an evil empire and a sworn enemy of the U.S. They've neither acknowledged it nor appear to feel that it's in any way a problem, and now they act shocked. A Republican dared to speak to a Russian. To see the hypocrisy inherent in this requires just a few recent examples. These are by no means exhaustive. There are many, many more. Hillary Clinton. President Trump's 2016 foe, Hillary Clinton, presented her Russian counterpart with a famous gag reset button. It was supposed to represent a new era in U.S.-Russian ties. Instead, it was a transparent and pathetically weak attempt to appease Russia, which proceeded to annex the Crimea and parts of Ukraine during her tenure as Secretary of State. But her ties to the Russians in collusion with them and other questionable nations went far deeper and was far more troubling than Donald Jr.'s ever was. Last January, Politico reported that the Democratic National Committee, acting on behalf of Hillary, actually contacted officials in the corrupt government of the Ukraine, seeking opposition research against Trump. Ukrainian government officials tried to help Hillary Clinton and undermine Trump by publicly questioning his fitness for office, Politico said. They also disseminated documents implicating a top Trump aide in corruption and suggested they were investigating the matter, only to back away after the election. And they helped Clinton's allies research damaging information on Trump and his advisors. Is that not collusion? By the way, Ukrainians supplied information about Manafort meeting with Russian officials led to him being fired by Trump, so the DNC actually used the information. Okay, but what about Russia? The media did very little due diligence on reports of Hillary's collusion with Russia. As we reported in May, not only did Bill Clinton get $500,000 in 2010 for giving a speech in Moscow, paid for by a company with ties to Russian intelligence, but he did so while Hillary was the nation's top diplomat. We noted the overwhelming stench of collusion between the Clintons and Russia, noting that Viktor Vekselberg, a Putin confidant, and other Putin cronies gave money to the Clinton Foundation. The Clinton charity also took in millions from Uranium One, which was sold to the Russian government in 2010. With its acquisition, Russia gained control of 20% of the U.S. uranium deposits. Hillary's State Department approved the sale. John Podesta. Hillary's campaign manager didn't disclose during the campaign that he had received 75,000 shares of stock from Yule Unlimited, which was financed by the Kremlin. Podesta served as a director of the company from 2010 to 2014, when he joined the Obama White House. He hid the holdings from public scrutiny by transferring them to a shell company called Leonido Holdings that he incorporated a mere week and a half before taking a post in the White House. Oh, and don't forget Tony Podesta, John's brother, who was paid $24 million in fees as a lobbyist in 2016, much of it from foreign governments. He lobbied for Sberbank, a Russian financial firm that was trying to get U.S. sanctions removed that had been imposed after Russia took the Crimea from Ukraine in 2014. President Obama. Famously, President Obama met with then Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, a protege of Vladimir Putin, at a 2012 conference in Seoul. In comments he thought weren't being picked up by the microphone, Obama said he needed time, particularly with missile defense, until he was in a stronger political position. Here's the ensuing conversation. You can decide whether it amounts to collusion. Medvedev: I understand your message about space. Obama: this is my last election. After my election, I have more flexibility. Medvedev: I will transmit this information to Vladimir. And of course there was the fact that Obama did virtually nothing as Putin ransacked the Crimea, threatened Poland and the Baltic nations, while Obama himself outsourced the fight against ISIS to Russia, leading to the mass murder of civilians there. This too is collusion, the inevitable result of someone who cravenly promised flexibility to a dictator. DNC/Russia. The DNC used disinformation from a highly questionable source linked to the Russians to discredit Trump last year. Former British spy Christopher Steele produced a dossier containing lots of salacious charges against Trump, including some obscene in nature. Steele handed the dossier over, but only after being paid by Fusion GPS, an opposition research firm that was itself being paid by a Hillary Clinton supporter. As the Washington Times' Rowan Scarborough wrote this week, Mr. Steele makes clear that his unproven charges came almost exclusively from sources linked to the Kremlin and Russian President Vladimir Putin. He identified his sources as a senior Russian ministry figure, a former top-level Russian intelligence officer active inside the Kremlin, a senior Kremlin official, and a senior Russian government official, and the Democrats paid for this information and then circulated it. Russia/Green groups. In the last election, Hillary Clinton made special cause with left-wing green groups, since she had plainly stated her intent to take down the fossil fuel industry, and along with it, American industry and its way of life, a long-cherished goal of the far-left green movement. Now, according to House Science Committee Chairman Lamar Smith, it turns out that the green groups were working in collusion with, you guessed it, Russia. As Smith told the Wall Street Journal, if you connect the dots, it's clear that Russia is funding U.S. environmental groups in an effort to suppress our domestic oil and gas industry, specifically hydraulic fracking. They have established an elaborate scheme that funnels money through the shell companies in Bermuda. This scheme may violate federal law and certainly distorts the U.S. energy market. The American people deserve to know the truth, and I am confident Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin will investigate the allegations. tens of millions of dollars funneled to green groups to attack the U.S. energy industry on behalf of Russia and global warming. The fact is the Democratic Party and their allies on the left are up to their necks in real, actual, demonstrable, and irrefutable collusion with the Russians and their dictatorial former KGB leader Vladimir Putin. With a few notable exceptions, the mainstream media have all but ignored this in favor of hyperventilating over a nothing burger meeting between Donald Trump Jr. and a Russian lawyer who was, by the way, allowed into the U.S. on a special visa by none other than Attorney General Loretta Lynch. Democrats on the left didn't just collude with Russia, they embraced them and show no shame in having done so. This video is a production of the School of the White Crane. My name is John Brooker, and you could reach me through commentary on this video or through my email listed here. Please share this video with family and friends and on social media. May God richly bless you.